cool. So I am here with Joseph, who is a magician. We're just talking, and I just want to interview him to understand more about magic, to understand more about how it works, and to just get some more, feelings about those type of things. All right, Joseph, how's it going, man?
It's going.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, brother, of course. So talk to me. What's going on? How do you like magic?
It's like it's like going. It's like being a kid in a candy store,
All right,
and you're living it every day and not getting sick of it. That's how that's how magic is to me, and that's how I feel about it.
that's awesome. So what you're saying is, are you constantly learning more about it?
It's a never-ending process.
It's a never-ending process. Cool. Do you think there's actually real magic in life,
Y-
like sensations and different things we're talking about, intuition?
I believe so. I honestly believe so, and what I see, what has happened, especially recently, is that people are ignoring their sensations. They're ignoring their being disconnected from themselves in a way that is damaging.
How so? You mean like instead of listening to their gut feelings, they're more
Exactly.
listening to just like logic or like other people's logic?
More so on other people's logic that they're listening to, but and less of their own instinct.
Well, okay, okay, makes sense. So you think people should listen more to just their inner voice instead of just listening to other people or just news, other
Uh,
things around them?
it should be a combination, but more so of their inner voice.
Okay, and
And listening to other people, it does help. You get a different insight of what
touching
your
to it.
uh, uh, you get a different insight of what your inner voice is saying. A better understanding of what your inner voice is saying if you listen to other people, and more, yeah, and you have to really not just hear but listen to your inner self.
Like, okay, instead of just logic, like the feelings, sensations
Uh,
of your inner soul, like between right or wrong, or that spidey tingly sense.
yes, and,
Okay,
and it's a constant uh, awareness. You know, we could be taught logic. We could be taught certain aspects and how to think, but we cannot be taught how we feel, and we can be taught what our intuition means, but we cannot be taught intuition and awareness.
speaking of which, on the ride here, you were telling me how you're legally blind and you have to depend on your other sensations, other senses to
Yeah,
get by in life.
yes,
And one of those things is just like a sixth sense in the sense we're talking about, like people's vocal and
yes,
certain things you have to depend on
yes, and
for lack of certain,
yeah,
sensation.
yes, exactly. It's when for me it's uh, listening to people's intonation, their voice and their pitch, their tonality, their consistency in how they speak within the conversation. Uh, it's obvious when you could tell someone is mad if they're yelling all the time, or when their voice is cracking. You could hear that they're sad. But for me, it goes beyond those generic um, social cues of if this person's crying, they're gonna have a somber voice, or if they're tired, they're gonna have a somber voice. I can actually pick up on certain frequencies of, like, if they're upset, but they're in a position where they cannot show that they're upset. They will, lash out, or they will, the way they say certain things, I could pick up on that. Because I can't just go look at someone's facial
Mm-hmm.
expressions or look into their eyes. It'd be creepy if if I'm like 6 inches from your face to see your face. That'd be creepy.
Yeah.
So it's like
So you have to rely on.
I have to rely, and also keeping eye contact with someone. I have to look at their nose. Their center of their face to give them their, I don't want to say illusion of having eye contact, because I have to look at, I have to be respectful and give someone eye contact. Right now it's like the way we're seated, I'm not giving you eye contact.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
So good.
but me and you have already discussed that, so it's like that already. I've already had my gut feeling about you talking to you on the phone and on the ride here.
Nice.
So it's like my intuition. Okay, I'm safe.
You're comfortable.
I'm comfortable.
Not just safe, just comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay, this guy's cool.
Not just safe, and it's safe and comfortable.
Okay, good. And now we're in my parents' house doing this podcast, which is pretty cool. So you're pretty comfortable here.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to ask you a question on. When you mean you pick up on their frequency, what you mean is like based on other people's feelings, they release certain vibrations
Yes.
that you can actually pick up on because of the lack of your vision.
Yes. And
how would you be able to describe that for people right now, like that are just maybe in their car driving, they can't really see us talking? What would be some words that would put it together? I know it's hard. It's a sixth sense. Most people don't have it.
no, they have it. They're just not aware of themselves having it. It's like, think of like a radio transmission.
Right.
There's certain frequencies that certain stations have, and if you especially on older radios, if you kind of put the dial,
tweak it a little bit,
you could actually get two stations. But that's rare. Like you have to be at the right spot at the right time for that to happen. But it's like those decimal points that I pick up on of people's vibrations. It's a lot of people pick up on the whole number. I pick up on the decimals.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the best way I could describe it right.
So the way I understand it is due to the fact that you can't really see too well, or at all for that matter. Cause,
too well. Too well.
Too well, because you are legally blind, as you told me.
Yeah.
Because of that, that frequency is low, so you have to turn on a different frequency, a sixth sense, which most people don't really have tuned in.
Yeah.
To make yourself more aware acutely of your surroundings and other people and what their intentions are, whether they're being nice, they want to ask you to their podcast like me, or they might have some malicious intent. Based on their vocal cords and the frequency and energy they give out, you're able to pick up on those things.
Yes.
That's awesome. How long were you able to do
that? Apparently my whole life. But I didn't become aware of this ability until my early in my adult life, maybe in my early 20s. I picked it up. Or not picked it up. I
became aware.
Aware of this ability.
Okay. Interesting. And you said you were trying to work it out, so you have more. You're more attuned to it, kind of like going to the gym and working out that way. It's like a muscle. You have to constantly work at it.
Yeah.
Through meditation or.
I just haven't figured out what kind of meditation to do and what specifically where to go, because I'm not banging on meditation, but there's specific meditations that have a specific purpose that I'm aware of.
Yeah,
So it's like I don't want to. Yes, it'll be good for me to learn different kinds of meditation, but I want to be able to learn that specific in that area, specifically that area.
Okay. I to help you out with that, I think it might be mindfulness. It's just being more aware of your body and what's going on in your head. So you constantly just concentrate on yourself. And every time you try to think of something else, you bring it back. And that way you're more acutely aware because people are sending in inputs and you're picking up on that where other people cannot. So, I mean, that's just a thought. I don't know.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. And as far as magic, so you're a magician.
Yeah.
You do it. You've been to the Magic Castle.
Yes.
You've been there. That's awesome. You're gonna try to get me in there, but it's kind of the end of the year. But it's okay. No problem.
I'm still in good standing as a member at the Magic Castle, so
What do you like about magic? What appeals you to it?
it's bringing everybody that watches magic to more to it brings everybody like at that wow moment. It brings everybody at the same level. Even though even though there's the magician and a dozen or so audience members, it brings everybody. Everybody's wondering the same thing: how or why
How? Okay.
or why. It's like
Yeah.
any person who goes in to the Magic Castle, specifically the Magic Castle, they want to be fooled. They want to escape, and it kind of, and for me at least, it's performing magic or watching magic is kind of like a reset.
It's like being a kid again.
It's like being a kid again. It's like a reset to the rest of the world.
Okay. Like you're escaping your like your own problems, and you're just as a kid just wondering. You're curious about how this works.
Yes.
What it's working? Is it really doing magic? Is it a sixth sense that you're picking up on the seventh sense?
Yes.
That's awesome. And for those people that don't know what the Magic Castle is, it's this really big castle in Hollywood, California, where it's just a bunch of rooms full of magicians, where they have like dinner and a show where a lot of magicians go and just perform magic. Dude, it's awesome. I heard there's like a piano too that plays itself. That's awesome.
Her name is Irma.
I've never been there. Because it's invitation only.
Yeah.
But until I met you, I've never been invited.
Yeah.
So now I can actually finally
invited.
go one of these days. That's awesome, dude. We can go together, check it out. Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. And we were talking earlier about pseudoscience, how that sixth sense that you're talking about, that clearly you have. When there's other scientists that talk about it, they consider that pseudoscience and not real science because apparently, like, you're kind of wacky if you talk about it or if you study it. Why do you think that is?
We're gonna backtrack. It's because of what society. People tend to ignore their own self and go with the crowd.
Go with the mainstream flow.
And so they tend to like, that's not right, or you know what, I don't agree with it, and my colleagues don't. So it's like whether it's wrong or right, they're gonna go up. It's the saying is like whatever everybody's doing, do the opposite, and you'll be successful.
That's why I'm starting this podcast, because I just want to shine more light on that. Because there's definitely something there.
And I agree, and even for me, and I've been studying magic for years, and I'm still not grasping how it works and how to manifest that entertainment. I could just do a simple card trick or a coin trick or a rope trick, and I'll just be a rope. It'll just be a trick. It won't be an experience if I don't bring that connection, that intuition, and allowing my spectator, my audience member, to actually be in connection with me and allowing their third eye to open and be allowed to, like, I don't need to know how it's done. It just happened. I have to let it happen.
They accept it.
And they have to, not necessarily blindly accept it, but accept it with
Okay.
with reservations.
Okay. So that's another quote that I heard. Instead of like saying I need to see it to believe it, it's I believe it, and then I manifest it in my third eye, my pineal gland,
Yeah.
and then and then I end up seeing it.
Yeah. It's like
Something of that sort.
Yeah. So and it's the same as like it's like you think you it's manifestation of like, oh, I'm gonna own a house one day. I'm gonna own a house one day. You start you think of that end goal and that end result,
Mm-hmm.
and because you're so focused on that end result, you're naturally gonna start seeing things that will lead you to that end result.
Nice. Nice.
So you're gonna start seeing, let's say you're gonna buy a house.
Yeah.
And you say, I'm going to buy a house, and I'm going to buy a house. You start seeing advertisements, how to save for a down payment, how to save for this, how to save for that. You're going to start you're going to start getting more productive at work to earn more money. And same we digress, but this goes with the magic. You have to believe that the magic is happening.
As a spectator,
as
the magician?
Both.
Awesome.
Both. Because the magician is like a shaman to that effect. No pun intended, but the magician is just they help manifest the world of magic, whether it's real or not.
Okay.
So I know this is a podcast.
So he's just grabbing some rope.
Yep.
Okay.
It's reality. In reality, there's 3 pieces of rope.
Okay, so they say there's 3 pieces of rope, which there actually is right now for the people that are driving and they cannot see.
Yeah. There, one length of rope is long.
Okay.
Really. One length of rope.
So you want to talk into the mic so they can hear you? Yeah.
One length of rope is small.
Okay.
Maybe the small rope, maybe it's like 8 inches long.
Sure.
The long one is about 18 to 20 inches. About 20 inches.
So there's one really long one, there's a medium one, and there's a short one.
Yeah, and
we'll
the
keep
medium
it simple.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the reality. But what is if you forgo what reality is, and you have all 3 ropes?
No way.
Be the same length.
Okay, so those of you that can't see this right in front of my eyes, I saw a short one, I saw a medium one, and a long rope, and he just turned all 3 of them the same size, all 3 mediums. That's
But if you live in the Matrix,
ooh,
you could choose the red pill or the blue pill. For me, I choose the red pill because I want to see
reality.
The actual reality.
Well, do you think there's an illusion of choice also?
Yes.
Whoa.
We don't.
How do you feel about that?
Because going back, I'm a little bit more religious than most people.
Okay, good.
But I'm not gonna shove it.
No. Go right ahead, dude. Just tell us what you think.
It's there's a joke I heard. If you want to make God laugh, tell him your plan.
Tell him your master plan.
Tell him your master plan.
Yeah, that's fine because he already knows all. Yeah, I heard that one.
So your destiny, your fate has already been determined.
Do you think you could change that though?
You could, but the misconception is that it'll happen
Either way.
either way.
That kind of reminds me of the movie The Time Machine, where he makes a time machine to save his wife that died,
Exactly.
and every time he saves his wife, she ends up dying a different way.
Exactly.
So the end, what you're saying is determined,
Yes.
but you could change it, but it might go this way, it might go a little
Yeah.
bit that way, but
But if
what's
you
going to
go
happen is going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. And if you go against that will, yeah, it could happen differently. Each choice you make will, yeah, the same outcome will happen on whatever choice you make.
Okay. What about people that think they lose power, like they're powerless? Anything that happens can happen. Don't get out of bed. What's the point? And like
they don't have a internal compass
intuition.
or their
Ooh.
intuition. They lose focus of who they are because they're so diluted of what the outside world is telling them to be. You do have choices. You do have control to choose the red pill or choose the blue pill. To choose, I'm gonna follow what is the path that is given to me,
Okay.
or go against it.
Okay. So, can you give me an example of a time that you tuned into your sixth sense on a person or someone's tone or frequency that you picked up on, and you just trusted your gut feeling, and it just led you the right way?
Well, I have so many. I honestly have so many because.
Can you think of one that
can I say the opposite?
Yeah,
like
go
the
ahead.
Inverse, like when I did not follow.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because
did you know, like deep down inside, it was you were supposed to do this, but you're like, I just chose not to listen to myself or chose to listen to someone else, and something bad happened.
I
Tell me what you're gonna tell me.
When I went to I was fed up. And I'm still fed up with living in California.
Yeah, we're talking about that.
I decided, I had a buddy of mine that I worked with in one of the restaurants, that I was employed at. And so, him and I became friends. And my gut at the time, when we're having beers and hanging out, going to each other's places and being friendly. So it's like, okay, I quickly made the decision. Okay, this guy's cool. He's gonna be a.
That was just the alcohol.
What?
That was just the alcohol talking. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
I know how this ends.
We've spoken. There are times we didn't drink. We just, we did drink. Where it was like White Claws.
Okay.
It wasn't like we weren't having like a six pack. We just have one White Claw.
Right.
It wasn't.
No, I'm just kidding about that.
Yeah, I
So
know.
what did you mean when you said you made? Okay, so you made the decision that you felt him out and he was cool.
Yeah, I made the decision before I really listened
to yourself.
to myself. I jumped ahead of the game.
Okay. You put the carriage in front of the horse.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, so months, on and off friendship for 2 years. He ended up going to work somewhere else.
Out of state.
Eventually out of state.
Okay.
So it's like, he reaches out to me and says, "Hey, I'm back in Utah."
Okay.
And it's like, come, I don't mind you coming visit. I go, okay, cool. You know what? I'm already planning on moving out. So I tell him, it's like, hey, I'll come visit. I'll crash at your place for
Right.
for a couple of days. Nothing too serious.
Yeah, you're telling me about this in the car. So
Yeah.
pretty much, he agreed to it, and then he ghosted you,
Yeah,
and he left you high and dry.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and you didn't listen to your intuition at the time.
At the time, I did not. That was like the whole situation of him between me talking to him about me getting the tickets, and I even texted him, "Hey," I sent him a screenshot of my
Right, your flight.
my flight,
Okay, I got it.
so he knows.
Let me.
Pick me up at the airport,
And he just left you high and dry, and you
Yeah.
should have listened to yourself.
and it was until like a week before when he kind of like his phone calls and texts became
more
vague
vague.
and spaced out. That was when my intuition just revved up. My heart sank. My butterfly. Like my stomach wanted to leave my body.
I got it.
So
And you should have listened to yourself.
I should have listened to myself.
So bottom line.
Years ago,
So bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, he went to Utah, and his friend ghosted him, and he was just left high and dry. And he should have listened to his friends. I mean, he should have listened to himself.
Yeah.
And one question for you. One of my favorite sayings is by Arthur C. Clarke. It goes, "Magic is science we don't understand yet." How do you feel about that?
I actually agree with that because
Why?
most magicians who most practicing magicians, they strive for that moment that they can give to the
Audience?
audience, and when you cannot prove, I
Yeah,
you
like
can't with the ropes.
I can't
can't-
prove it. I just
no-
touched it right now.
no person who is not no practicing, except for practicing magicians,
Uh-huh.
they know what I did.
Right.
But when to the normal person,
The untrained eye.
the untrained eye, or even a trained eye, like when you go, like scientist, for example, they test,
Right.
and the normal person can actually go and find how to test things.
Right. So when there's a lot of people that do it, yeah, that's when it becomes science.
That's when it becomes science. But when not too many people do it, it's like the normal layman person. They cannot explain. Oh, how did it's physically impossible for 3 ropes to be the same size
Okay.
that are cut. That are cut differently. For that, it's physically how you cannot
Right.
explain it. I could explain.
I can't explain it. I just
I can
grabbed
explain it, but
Yeah, no, don't.
Luckily, I know where the shovel is. If I have to explain it to you.
Oh, you mean you could tell me, but you have to kill me?
Yeah.
No need for that.
no.
That's
But
okay.
again,
Yeah, I understand.
and that's where that's why it's like magic is. The reality of magic is, like pseudoscience.
Do you think so?
No. The actual. You cannot test that magical moment.
Oh, you can't test a magical moment.
You can't
Okay.
because it's different for everybody.
Do you think now? What about like 100 years in the future, when there's science evolves? I mean, when science evolves, technology evolves. Still,
Because
Still.
it's one of those.
it's the awe moment.
It's that like, that's why magic is one of the oldest professions in the world.
That's crazy. I haven't thought about it. Right up there with prostitution.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I don't know how they do it, but they do it.
The magicians or prostitutes?
Both.
No, I'm just That's funny. That's okay. Yeah. So okay. I understand what you're saying. So what I want to do is just get into just interview more people that do like intuition, that measure intuition, or like astral projection, which we were talking about earlier. I've actually done it, and I know people that have done it, and it kind of freaked me out. There's no way to measure that though.
I have a friend who, maybe like 3 months ago, he got his license.
Star license.
He's licensed to do hypnotism.
Okay, so those people that don't know what astral projection is, it's an out of body experience where pretty much the way it is your soul leaves your body and you can just turn around and see your body, but it's your astral form. It's called astral projecting. You're projecting yourself outside of your body.
And that's completely different from lucid dreaming.
That is very different from lucid dreaming because you could, because you're consciously aware.
I've actually, I'm not good at it yet, but I've actually naturally trained myself to lucid dream. I know we're
No, it's okay. Let's try.
I know we're digressing.
Nah, don't worry, man.
But
hey, we're just talking.
but it's to learn how to astral project that
I've done it.
For me, that would be like the next.
It creeped me out. I've done it
the
twice.
next step.
So your friend, that's a hypnotist.
Yeah, but originally, and he's also a mentalist.
Okay.
I will actually, if you want to talk to him,
Yeah.
I'll bring you in contact with him.
Yeah, I can talk to him tomorrow if you want.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll reach out to him.
Sure.
And see if he is willing to help you, and he'll actually, be more helpful to you in the theological aspect of this subject we're talking about as well. Yeah, the mentalism part, the hypnotism, and the theological part.
Okay.
So, if that's any consideration.
Let me ask you this. If he's a mentalist, and I know what mentalists do, they try to bend reality.
Yeah.
Based on you and your sixth sense, are you able to pick up on his voice that he's trying to do different things?
No, because I know what he's doing. Because I know, mentalism is like the final frontier of magic.
The final frontier?
Yeah, it's like like a lost art. I don't want to say lost art of magic, but it's dealing with people's psyche.
But everybody's different.
That's what makes it the most magical.
That you could get a group of people to do the same thing, even though every single person is different and an individual.
Exactly, and you could get and pick up on every single person's thought.
And just guide it.
And just guide it, and do that, and that is beyond me. And plus, and he spends a lot of time reading books.
And he's a hypnotist too?
And
so he deals with people's, what do they call it? Unconscious mind? Subconscious mind?
Yes, and he actually, he's a licensed hypnotist.
Right.
So you could, and, I had a conversation with him about that as it's a pseudo science.
But it's not.
No, he agrees that it's not.
But it's not. It's like legitimately, like, there's proven facts. Like, if people hypnotize someone,
people
they say
psychology is a pseudoscience.
Okay.
And for psychology to say hypnotism is a pseudoscience, that says something. That our intuition, our own spiritual mind cannot be explained 100%.
Scientists still don't know what consciousness is up to this very point.
Even I remember seeing a study like for years have been doing sleep studies just to understand dreams.
Yeah, they don't know why people completely dream.
The working theory is to organize our conscious thoughts. That's the only explainable. But even then, that's like you said.
But I know people that have told me that they've seen future things happen in their dreams, and it actually happened. Or some people I know that have like astral projected.
Or for me, I didn't train myself to lucid dream, but I.
What do you mean you train yourself to lucid dream?
No, I haven't trained.
Oh, you haven't trained.
I haven't trained myself to lucid dream, but on occasion I do it.
How would someone train themselves to lucidly dream?
It's it's there's like a
And what is lucid dreaming?
lucid dreaming is like when you sleep and you're aware
That you're sleeping.
that you're dreaming and you're asleep,
Okay.
and you could actually control. You could actually pick up things and do things in your dream, and you could tell yourself to
I've done that a couple times, and I knew I was dreaming. But what I've read about dreams is the reason people don't sit down in chairs, and the reason people don't sit down at restaurants and eat or grab a fork is because you're in an astral realm. Like there's no physical things. There's no reason for you to get tired and sit down.
Yeah.
But I've actually sat down in my dreams, and I remember myself remembering that, and I was like, "Holy shit, I'm in a dream, dude." And I'm aware of what's going on, and I'm sitting down. I'm not supposed to be sitting down, but I knew it was clear as day I was in a dream.
And a couple of times I've had the same dream like 2-3 days in a row.
Wow.
And it was lucid. It was like, I guess it was like my brain trying to complete the dream. Because I stopped it. I essentially stopped it from the dream happening the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
So I was like, for like 2-3 days, I had the same dream. On the last time I had it, I just like, you know what, I'm getting tired of this. I'm gonna just let it be.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only thing I remember is like flying from a mountaintop into a patio of a house.
Wait, I just thought of something. Okay, so you have a visual impairment, and you're a magician, and you have to perform in front of crowds. If you can't see their expression when you're performing, can you actually feel them?
Yeah.
You can actually feel the people?
Yeah.
Go into detail on that.
And it's like when I hear their applause, I could hear if it's like a sincere applause or is it they're applauding to be polite.
And you can just pick up on that. Like, what is it like? Like, what's the difference? It's harder, or you can't really put it into words.
I can't. It's when they're just being polite, it doesn't feel genuine. When the applauses feel genuine, I could pick up on that. When it's like, okay, I'm gonna, that it's like, okay, I'm, that
you could pick up on 10, 20 people doing that, despite the fact that you can't see them.
Yeah. That well, because plus it's like the studio, like you cannot see past the first row anyway.
Okay, that makes sense because it's dark.
No, it's dark, and then there's the stage lights. So you can't see the person unless you have someone like right next to you. I could tell, and I actually have a lot of my shows. I always have 1 or 2 people sitting next to me.
Okay.
So not only for me to I entertain them, and they're the liaison to the audience. So then, and I spoke earlier on the right here is like reading reading your audience.
Okay.
And I would also watch other performers and see how the audience reacts to them. It's like, do I do my show next, or do I pass up and let the other guy go ahead of me? Because unless the other magician in front of me sucks, I would go. I'd make sure to go
and you just fill it out. And you're saying the reason you could feel people's applause or just fill the room is because you can't rely on your vision. So there's other senses that you need to rely on.
Hearing.
And you can't touch the people because they're too far away.
Exactly, and sometimes I throughout the day when I'm at the venue, at the Magic Castle, I'd like before I do any sets, I'll do my sets later in the night, because then I would go and kind of mingle with other magicians, mingle with with the crowd, kind of get a general feel for who I'm dealing with that night.
Okay.
So when they happen to come downstairs to where I perform, uh, I could change my energy. I could change my
And
energy.
okay, let me ask you this. Speaking of energy, so we're reaching the end, but let's just say you're having a good night. You feel really good, and you go and perform. Do you feel that your energy you project it onto the whole crowd, and your just set just becomes a lot better because of that?
Yes, and that comes with practice.
That comes with practice.
That
You just have to lift your energy in a sense.
Exactly, and also your energy, your energy has to be the same. It's like
Or higher.
the same or higher as your audience,
Okay.
but usually higher. You want
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
a
You want
little
to be.
a little higher because you're gonna get a better connection with the audience.
Got it. So you're gonna be more on the same frequency as the audience.
Exactly.
But you also want to bring them up, right?
Yes.
Because that's why they're there in a sense.
Yeah, that they're there to be in the same an escape. And the quicker you could make your audience fall in love with you, you could just suck and they'll still love you.
Have you ever had a night? Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you say you go in, things aren't going your way. Let's say you had a bad day before you got to, your set,
Yeah.
and you're just things aren't going the way, but it's just a really good crowd.
Yeah.
And they rub off on you in a good way, and things just change. The tides just change. You had that happen too.
More than one occasion.
More than one. And they say you were stumbling.
And then the reverse happens too. That the reverse always happens too. It's like, okay, the audience is like, you know what? Let's you bring yourself in a sense, even though you're supposed to be on a higher pedestal, not as a out of cockiness or ego.
You're just confident.
Out of confidence, you're supposed to be above, be a little bit better than your audience.
Mm-hmm.
So I always do, I always do formal magic with a suit and tie.
Yeah.
Because you're
supposed to be professional in a sense.
Professional in a sense, and you're supposed to be like, if I dress, right now I'm dressed like you, casual. So for me to do magic in a as a casual dress, it doesn't work in certain situations. Like if I go to the beach, I will wear a button down shirt and maybe a vest.
Okay.
But if I go to a rooftop, I'm gonna put a tie on and
be more presentable.
Be more presentable.
Presentable. Yeah, no problem.
And you have to always dress up one notch above your
audience.
And
there's a dress code there too, right?
Yes, there's a dress code.
Got
it. Even when I'm at the castle, if I do a paid show, I always dress like I'm going to the castle because it brings that that energy, wow, you're
and people have more of a perception, right? When you dress nice, like, I'm gonna take this guy seriously.
Yes,
he went that extra mile and he dressed nice for me.
Exactly, and that goes with that that frequency and matching that frequency.
Okay.
Bringing everybody.
Have you ever? Bringing everyone up.
Yes.
Have you ever? Last question. Have you ever had your really, really good day, for some reason you were feeling really good, but you went and different people just were like, oh dude, the crowd sucks today, and you're like, I don't care, I'm still gonna do my best, and you were able to just bring them up? Yeah. What is that? How do you feel that works?
It's just
it's just you rubbing off on them, your energy.
It comes with practice, and I'm still practicing doing that. Even though I've it's like when you speak in front of 100 people, there's that energy, or you perform in front of a crowd, there's that energy. But when you perform in front of 3 people, it's hard because it's 3 people. You're going from higher up to there's just 3.
Okay.
Yeah, but and again, it's if you could bring
10 people have that 100 up, and that rub off on another 10 people,
exactly.
And it just causes a chain reaction.
And it's the reverse. If a couple of times I'm pumped, I'm ready to go, and someone just says something to me that it's there's also saying it's easier to bring people down, but it's hard to bring people up.
But I like burning people up because it burns me up too.
No, bringing, not burning.
No, bring. Yeah, bring them.
It brings people, but you gotta bring. They gotta want to come up.
That's true too.
They gotta want to come.
Yeah. So I studied psychology myself, and probably the most valuable lesson in college I've learned, and I have a degree in psychology, is you can't really help people that don't want your help.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and again with performing at the Magic Castle is easy because people want to go. They're there to go see magic.
Perfect.
If you go to a bar and I do magic, it's kind of like I have to like, hey, I do magic. Would you? There's.
You have to ask for the permission in a sense.
It's like you have to put a little bit more work.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Out in the street to do magic versus doing magic at a place that allows you to do magic.
Cool. Right on. Joseph, thank you so much.
No problem.
For coming on my show. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll put his information down below. Feel free to reach out to him if you're in Los Angeles and you want to go to, Magic Castle and see him. Just ask for him. And also you can call him for private events. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to do that for you. You do private events, right?
I do.
Great. Thank you so much. All right, my man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Cool.